everyone. So as you probably know, I really like Disney, and because I do, some people like to challenge me and tell me that Walt Disney was racist, and they always expect me to defend him, and I won't. What was that? Excuse me, I'm having some issues. I will not defend Walt Disney. I didn't know him. I didn't know his context and his reasons at the time for thinking something was okay. We have so many examples of things that didn't age well and things that just aren't okay in movies and shows. And yes, Disney has a lot of them. I'm not gonna pretend that I don't know. I'm not gonna try and sugarcoat it, because there are so many things that, yes, are racist. And Disney has apologized through the years, and they've taken certain actions. Today, we're gonna talk about how they just removed 6 Disney movies from Disney Plus Kids. This is obviously a result of an ongoing review of their movies. Just to clarify, the movies are still there, but you can't watch them on Disney Plus Kids because Disney doesn't want kids watching these movies without supervision and then thinking that what they see in the movies is okay. With a regular account, when you go to watch a movie, there's a content advisory warning before the movie. It lasts for like 11 seconds or something, and you can't skip it. So Disney is really trying to tell us that this is not okay, we don't stand by this, yada yada. The warning says, this program includes negative depictions and or mistreatment of people or cultures. These stereotypes were wrong then and are wrong now. Rather than remove this content, we want to acknowledge its harmful impact, learn from it, and spark conversation to create a more inclusive future together. It's clearly not something that Disney really stand for and that they want to promote, but it's just really unlucky that they've ended up in the position where they have a lot of things that are hard to explain and hard to excuse. I also think that how they wrote that, they hope that this can spark conversation. I think it's quite optimistic, which I like to be optimistic about these things, but then again, I am a white person who's never experienced racism. If nothing else, this serves as a look how far we've come thing, where you can see what was actually considered okay by a lot of people back then, but now of course we've made huge improvements in that area, but it's still not okay. But all of these movies are quite old. Before I read the examples, remember that some of these were from a time where racial segregation was very much still a thing. And from one of these movies, I think one of the black actors who played an important part didn't get to go to the premiere because he wasn't allowed in the theater. And that kind of gives some historic understanding of where we were when these things happened, or these movies happened. But that does not take away from the fact that it was racist then, it's racist now, and it's unacceptable. The first movie is Dumbo, which I think if anyone has seen it as an adult, you know that this would be on the list. Dumbo is always pictured as this cute character, and it's so popular to put as decorations in nurseries and on baby clothes and all of that. He's seen as such a cute little character. But the movie is a storm. Quite early in the movie, we have a scene where a lot of circus workers are putting up the circus, you know, all the tents and all of that. The workers are all dark-skinned, and they sing a song as they're working, which this song is hard to listen to. The lyrics make them sound like they're stupid and that the hard manual labor is all they can do. They even sing a line after like everyone else has gone to bed, that we slave until we're almost dead. This is a children's movie. It would have been different if all the workers, literally all the workers, weren't black, but they are. Another song from Dumbo that constantly faces criticism is Never Seen an Elephant Fly, more specifically the crows that sing it. This is because it seems like they're representing black people and not in the best way, with the way they talk and how there's a lot of grammatical errors, like how the song is called Never Seen an Elephant Fly, and then they always sing Never Seen a Elephant Fly. But I think this one is a bit more up to how each individual sees it, and not as extreme as the first song, and not as extreme as the Roustabout song. Oh yeah, the first song is called Roustabouts. I forgot to say that. The second movie is Peter Pan, and the issue is how the Native Americans are being talked about and the phrases used, such as Injun and Redskins, which both are today not considered nice terms to use. And the fact that they sing a whole song about what made the red man red doesn't make it any better, and it also kind of depicts them as overly sexualized people because they turned red from flirting with girls. During my research, I also read about how the Lost Boys and the English Boys wearing the headdresses and dancing with the Indians was seen as mockery, but literally they were just taking part in the celebration. And the Native Americans were obviously the ones that gave them the stuff in the first place and invited them to the party. So I don't really see how that is mockery when you're just taking part in someone's culture. But again, it's up to everyone's understanding. The next movie that has been removed is The Jungle Book, and I think it's widely known that the Jungle Book books were extremely racist and capitalist. But Disney's adaptation isn't quite as bad, but a lot of people still think and criticize how the monkeys have been portrayed as black people and how King Louis talks in a way less educated way than the rest of the animals. The way the monkeys are portrayed just amplifies an otherness with African American people. So that's why I Want to Be Like You specifically gets a lot of criticism for making African Americans look less educated or stupid. The next movie is Lady and the Tramp, specifically the scene where the two Siamese cats sing We Are Siamese If You Please. Disney through the years has had an issue with and gotten a lot of criticism for often drawing East Asian people as caricatures. So they give them, you know, slanted eyes and big teeth, and it's very specific for this group of people, and they've acknowledged and apologized for this many times. This isn't as bad in Lady and the Tramp as it is in other films, but East Asian characters often have a very exaggerated accent as well. So it's just this whole theme of kind of making people from other places looking very different or seeming very different, acting very different. I also saw that a lot of people have found an issue with the dogs in the dog pound having strong accents from being from different places. And I don't personally see what's wrong with this because they're not, you know, exaggerated. They're not really mocking the country they're from. They just have different accents. I literally never thought about this until I saw it in my research. I don't personally see what's wrong with this, but if anyone can enlighten me, that would be nice. Because if we can't include accents or people from other places, then we're just gonna be even more racist, if that makes sense. So I don't personally see what's wrong with this, but I would love an input on this. We're getting to the end. I know I'm taking a long time. The fifth movie on the list is The Aristocats. Here we again have the issue with the East Asian stereotypes. One of the alley cats is clearly depicted to be Asian, and they have the caricature facial features, and they also speak with a very heavy accent, as well as playing the piano with chopsticks. So they've just really tried to make them stand out. The last movie on the list is a movie I haven't seen. It's The Swiss Family Robinson. It's the only live action movie on the list so far. The issue here is that the pirates in the movie are a mix match. So they show different types of Asian and Middle Eastern culture and ways to dress and all of that. Geographically, it's just a very large span between the countries that these people would possibly be from. So it's just not very realistic. Well, I am not here to say that I expect Disney movies to be realistic. It just looks weird if you're representing a lot of different countries in one group of pirates. It also said that there's a racist depiction of Asians and that there's use of yellow face and brown face. So this is a huge issue. So I've seen that people have had different reactions to the fact that the movies have been removed from their kids' Disney Plus. I understand that people have different reactions to this, and probably a lot of people are thinking that, oh, we grew up watching this and we didn't turn out racist. Yada yada. It also relates to what I said in my Can White People Say the N-Word video, where I said that if it offends people, just don't do it. So we have to listen to the groups that have been offended and not what white people think is okay or not, because simply it's not our vote. Of course, we're gonna have different opinions on this, but I personally think that Disney should just remove the parts of the movies that are clearly racist and unacceptable. Because with some things there is a fine line, but some things are just inexcusable. I think it's about taking responsibility, and Disney is a huge corporation and they really should be a role model. Most of the time, it's not really huge parts of the movies that need to be corrected, and it has been done before, so it is possible. The movie Fantasia from 1940 is one of my all-time favorite Disney movies, but the original movie included one of the worst scenes I have ever seen. In one of the segments, there are centaurs and centaurettes. They all run around and do stuff, but there's one that has to do favors for all of them and help everyone, basically be their servant. And she is the only black Centaur in the movie. She is of course no longer in the movie. She's been taken out. Disney has removed her, so it can be done. And when it comes to songs, Aladdin from 1992 opens up with the song Arabian Nights, and one of the first lines of the song is where they cut off your ear if they don't like your face. It's barbaric, but hey, it's home. And this received criticism for how it pictured Arabs, so now the lines have been changed to where it's flat and immense and the heat is intense. It's barbaric, but hey, it's home. So it can be done. Disney has done it, and most of the things on the list aren't huge. They're not gonna ruin the movie, but at the same time, I'm not asking Disney to just remove everything and anything, because we have to accept that things don't always age well. We can't remove everything that doesn't work today. Like, then we can't watch Friends anymore, and that's kind of sad. And I know sometimes people are just looking for things to be offended by. I watched a list of like 10 racist things in Disney movies, and it really felt like they were reaching for stuff. And if you do that, then you just take away the seriousness of this. You kind of just make it look like we're whining about stuff and we don't really have a strong case because it's hard to find enough things to be offended by. And I don't want it to take this turn. Like, I don't want it to become this, oh, we should just be offended about everything and I can't believe they did that, I can't believe they did that. There are things that are bad. Absolutely. I think they should be removed, but I know that we have different opinions. I think rather than censoring it for kids and, you know, whatever, I think they should just be removed, replaced with something else, or fixed in some kind of Disney magic way that they've done before. It works really well. You wouldn't notice that these things are missing if you didn't know. And the kids that grow up now, they're not gonna know that slur words for Native Americans are missing from the Peter Pan movie. I think they're more focused on the fact that the boy can fly. I think we should only really remove the things that are clearly racist and clearly offensive, but we don't need to nitpick and try to find something in every movie that isn't acceptable, because that's just not the point here. The point is to actually get rid of real racism. But to end on an uplifting note, the fact that Disney has done this shows that it helps to use our voices. The people have spoken and we do not want racism. Disney has listened and Disney is trying to do something, which I appreciate. I mean, I'm expecting something more to happen. If this is all they're gonna do, then I'm not so happy, but it's nice to see that companies are listening and companies will make a change if their consumers want it enough. So yeah, keep using your voices, keep talking about racism, keep saying how it's not acceptable, and keep speaking up. All right, that was it for today. Thanks for listening, and I shall see you next Friday with a new video. Keep the good vibes.